All right, if you're about to dive into the world of architecture, or even just thinking about it, I want you to think of this as your essential field guide. We're going to talk about what you really need to know to not just get through architecture school, but to actually love the process. You know that feeling, right? That little spark of curiosity when you see a space that just works. That one question, that's the real beginning. It's the first step from just being someone who lives in the world to someone who's going to shape it. Churchill just absolutely nailed it here. This quote captures the weight and the wonder of what you're about to do. You're not just learning to make structures, you're learning how to influence how people live, work, and feel. It's a huge responsibility and honestly an incredible privilege. So where do we start? You might think it's with a pencil or some fancy software, but nope, it starts right up here, in your mind. The first and most important step is building a completely new way of thinking, a kind of blueprint for how you see the world. These are the three pillars that are going to hold up everything you do. First, observe. Really see things. How light hits a wall. The path people naturally take across a plaza. Then, sketch. Sketching isn't about making pretty drawings. It's about thinking with your hands. And finally, analyze. Get into the habit of relentlessly asking why. This is how you start to build that architectural brain. And this next idea, it is so freeing. Let go of the pressure to be a genius on your first try. Nobody is. Design is all about iteration. Your first idea is just a starting point. It's the process of refining and tweaking and starting over that leads to something great. Embrace it.
Okay, let's just bust a huge myth right out of the gate. A lot of people walk into architecture school thinking it's all about being this lone artist coming up with these incredible sculptures that people can walk through.
But the reality is so much richer, so much more interesting. It's a fusion. It's a balancing act. Yeah, you have to be an artist, but you also have to be a scientist who gets physics, a business person who understands budgets, and, this is the big one, an empath who truly designs for other human beings.
So, let's talk about the place where this fusion really happens, the design studio. The studio is the heart of your education. It's a crucible, really. It's where your ideas get tested and challenged and sometimes torn apart, but it is absolutely where the real learning happens.
And the core ritual of studio life is the crit. It is so important to understand this difference right here. A critique is not a personal attack. It's a dialogue to make the work better. Criticism, on the other hand, is just about finding what's wrong. Learning how to take a good critique is a superpower.
So, how do you get through it? First, document your process. It's just as important as the final thing. Lean on your peers. They're in the trenches with you. And please, please do not ignore that last point. A tired mind cannot create. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a vital design tool.
I want you to remember this when you're in a tough review. The moments that really push you, that make you uncomfortable, that's where your biggest breakthroughs are hiding. You have to lean into that discomfort. That's where you grow.
Okay, deep breath. You've survived the studio? Now what? Let's talk about translating all those incredible skills you learned from the world of academia into the reality of a career. This is the big question, right? The path you pick right out of school can really shape your whole professional life. And trust me, it is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You'll probably be looking at two main paths. Do you want to be at a smaller boutique firm where you get to wear a ton of hats and get your hands on everything? Or are you drawn to the massive projects and specialized teams of a corporate giant? There is no right answer. The only question is, which environment is going to help you thrive? Now, here is a little reality check that might surprise you. Once you start working, you might find that up to 75% of your time is spent on things that aren't designed in the pure sense. We're talking project management, client calls, coordinating with engineers. Mastering that stuff is every bit as important as being a brilliant designer. So how do you get your foot in the door? Your portfolio. And it is not just a collection of pretty pictures. Your portfolio is your story. It has to tell the story of how you think. Show your messy sketches. Show the process. Tell them how you solve problems. So as we start to wrap this up, let's pull back and look at the really big picture. Your education is only the foundation. You're starting on a lifelong journey to become a master builder. Not just the buildings, but of your own career. And this might be the most important thing to understand. There's no finish line. You don't just become an architect and then coast. Technology, materials, the world's problems, they are always changing. The real skill is committing to being a lifelong learner. So if you walk away with just one thing, let it be this toolkit. These are the tools that truly matter. It's not about what software you know. It's this mindset, being curious, being resilient, working with others. That's what will define your success and, frankly, your happiness in this amazing field.
And that leaves us with this one last, huge question. The world has big challenges: sustainability, community, you name it. But that means the opportunity is also huge. The blueprint is in your hands. So, what are you going to build?